So there's a couple details. You could say to yourself, if I'm running this code here, which is busy saving the way the register because I got an interrupt, what would happen if I got another interrupt? Well, I was in the middle of the kernel, and I hadn't saved all the registers yet. Oops. Okay, so there's this notion of re-entrance. The idea of re-entering something means you're halfway through a program. Can you sort of say, wait, another interrupt, and re-enter the same program, the same piece of kernel code? So in general, you don't really want to re-enter code that's busy saving state because you haven't saved all the state yet, right? So things are sort of in a confused state. So what we're going to do is come up with a process, a technique for ensuring that we never interrupt the kernel. We're going to set aside the high order bit to be the supervisor bit. High order bit of the PC to be the supervisor bit. And when that high order bit of the PC is 0, that means we're in user mode and we're going to allow interrupts. But when we take an interrupt, all the PCs that we use, Xadder and ILOP and all those PCs are going to be PCs that have the high order bit set, meaning they're in kernel mode. Right? So the kernel mode here is this sort of collection of interrupt handlers. Once you enter one of those, no more interrupts will happen, okay, until it returns back to the running program, to the user program, and now the actual hardware interrupt can happen, and you might go to some other interrupt handler. So that means when you're writing kernel code, you have to be pretty careful, because if you get like infinite loops in the kernel, often your machine just goes autistic. Interrupts are disabled. There's no way to bother the machine. Once it starts looping in the kernel, that's all it's going to do for the rest of time. So you ever notice sometimes, your machine seems to go like dead? Mouse doesn't work, keyboard doesn't work, nothing works. Da, 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 da. Chances are you're probably in some kernel loop somewhere. It's not supposed to happen, but occasionally it does. And what do you have to do to get restarted? Yeah, you find the power button and you press it for 5 seconds and it powers off and you turn it back on. So that's typically indicative of a very bad bug where somehow things got caught in some sort of loop in one of these handlers, which shouldn't have happened but did, and now the machine is completely autistic. It's not going to respond to any of the goings on, on your mouse or your keyboard or on the network or all your cursing, nothing's happening through the microphone. So, okay.